The Eagles got back to practice on Thursday. So they practiced. Nick Sirianni spoke. Some of the players spoke. So we're going to talk all about that today. We're going to give you our NFL Week 2 Sunday predictions against the spread. Maybe we talk a little Phillies as well. Trending in the AM, we're live. Talking all things Philly sports. We're live in 60 seconds, taking all your opinions. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Wherever you are watching from, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe and follow button. Please hit that share button. I'd greatly appreciate it. We can only grow this show and this network with your help. It is free to support local content creators. I'd greatly appreciate it. EOP would greatly appreciate it. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, here every single morning. You can find me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. I'd greatly appreciate a follow. We got lots to talk about today. We got Eagles football to talk about. Nick Sirianni and the Eagles got back to work. So we got our first practice report post-Brazil yesterday. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to continue talking a little bit about Devin White a little bit, Isaiah Rodgers. We're going to talk all that kind of stuff. Maybe I'm going to bring a little negativity. I don't know. I know I get overly positive about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni sometimes. Maybe I'll bring a little negativity into it. We are going to talk a little bit about last night's Bills-Dolphins game. Tua getting hurt again with another concussion. Should the man hang it up? Should he not? I don't know. That's something that we're going to discuss today as well. Phillies start a big 3-game series, start a big 10-game stretch this weekend. How important is this stretch to win, or how important is the stretch to get healthy? That's on the agenda. And hell, I'll even throw the Flyers into the conversation. If anybody wants to talk our black and orange, rookie camp is going on, and there are reports about how special Matvei Michkov looks. So literally everything. Yeah, I mean, we even talked Sixers this week. Sure. There was a Jimmy Butler conversation. So there's Sixers in the conversation. All 4 Philly sports teams are on the agenda today. Whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to discuss, whatever you have an opinion on, we could talk about it right here, guys. That's what we're going to do today. Good morning. It's Football Friday. That's right. It is Football Friday. And it's a great Friday. It is. It is. What's up, little G? Good morning to you this morning. Bruce Bryce Harper right in the house right from the get-go this morning. Good to see you, my main man. So the Eagles got back to practice yesterday. They did. And we got our first practice report. Devin White, Isaiah Rodgers were both full participants in practice yesterday, which is good. And then Milton Williams' name popped up as a limited participant with a foot injury. First and foremost, before we talk individual players, before we talk anything specific, I'm just in utter shock that there's that few injuries and issues on the Eagles right now after playing on that atrocious turf down there in Brazil. I'm surprised there's not more ankle injuries or leg injuries or foot injuries from that. So I'm happy. I'm excited, and I'm glad that we got out of Brazil pretty much unscathed. Little concerned about the Milton Williams issue, if he can't go or not. I personally still feel a little weak at depth at that defensive tackle position, but that's just me, especially going up a guy against like Bijan Robinson. So initially speaking, there's a lot of positives coming out of practice yesterday. Phil, if we could sweep the Mets this weekend, we could put them out of the wild card. Sweeping the Mets is going to be tough. We got 10 games, 7 against the Mets, 3 against the Brewers. We do need to win a bunch of them. 6-4, 7-3 would be ideal. But the number one goal, Bruce, is no one else to get hurt. And the ones that are hurt to get healthy for the Phillies. There are way too many injured, banged up players at this point. Happy Friday to you, Mr. Judd. How are you this morning? Anthony in the house. Got lucky with the injuries for sure. Yeah, I mean, look at how the Phillies are banged up right now. And the Eagles just played in Brazil and they came out unscathed. Now, I don't remember hearing anything about Milton Williams getting hurt. How about Isaiah Rodgers? He spoke yesterday before or after practice that his injury was a broken hand and he had surgery. How did not one Eagles reporter get the information that Isaiah Rodgers had to have surgery on his hand and it was broken? Basically, they were doing like strip the football injury things or strip the ball kind of things, like work on punching footballs out of ball carriers' hands, and he was acting as the ball carrier, and someone went in to punch the ball but punched his hand by mistake, broke his hand. I want to know, how in the blue hell did nobody know about that? How did nobody hear that? I know the Eagles like to keep things close to the vest, but how did not one beat reporter find out that Isaiah Rodgers had surgery 3 weeks? And it wasn't like 3 days ago. It was like 3 weeks ago. It's insane. Yes, I saw Tua last night. We have to discuss it. First and foremost, when you got a concussion issue and history like Tua, why are you leading with your helmet like that? Why are you diving? You got the first down. Why would you do that? That's just a stupid decision on his part. Two, I had a lot of intentions, and Anthony will vouch for me on this. I had a lot of intentions of bashing Tua and bashing McDaniels today before the injury happened. But now we're at the point where we've got to think about the well-being of Tua. The guy just can't keep himself from getting concussed. And it was bad. When you see a guy's arm like all bent and stuck like that, you know it's a severe concussion. You know there's some unconsciousness involved there. There's got to be a decision made on his well-being going forward. And I mean, his football aspect out of it, the human aspect of it. We don't need another Jim McMahon not being able to remember his own name on a daily basis scenario anymore. We've got extra skull caps. Why doesn't he wear a skull cap or whatever those things are in training camp? Something to protect himself would be greatly appreciated. I don't want to see players get injured like that. Phil, I feel you are right about the Phillies need to get healthy, as that must be the priority so we can have, exactly. The Phillies need to be healthy. You can't have Bohm, JT, Harper, Schwarber, Ranger, all these guys just banged up. You just can't. You can't. Tua needs to retire. He can't even protect himself on the field. Like, what's going through his head when he makes a play like that? There's no doubt he's an athletic guy that knows how to throw a football pretty decently. He was actually having a really hell of a horrible game last night. And I was all prepared to come on here and say, talk about the experts that always think that he's better than Jalen Hurts. Come on now. But that's secondary to the nature of the fact that the guy is going to end up killing himself because of football. Not literally, like figuratively. Because he's going to end any usefulness of his life going forward. The guy just needs to call it. I know he won't. Tua's a very proud man. Tua's not going to go out like that. If I'm an NFL doctor or if I'm an executive, I'm pulling the plug on him. I'm just telling him, you got to sit the rest of the year. Sit out 2 years. I don't know. We don't want you ruining your life over this. Tua channeled his inner Daniel Jones leading with his helmet like that. Look, it's just stupid. It is. First and foremost, it's stupid to lead with your helmet. Secondly, it's stupid to do it when you know you've got issues. Sorry, it's stupid to do it when you've already got the first down. I know you're down. It was your fault you were down. But it just wasn't necessary. And I feel for Tua. I feel for his family. I don't know his family situation really well, but whoever it is, I don't know if he's married or got kids or anything. I mean, I'm worried. This guy can have long-lasting issues. And I've had employees that worked for me in the past that had concussion issues. And literally, I remember one server I had working for me when I was a manager at Applebee's, and he was a low-level MMA fighter, and he had a bunch of head injuries from that, from being knocked out. And literally, the slightest bump, and he was done. And he was a little, I don't want to say anything mean, but he was a little loopy in the head because all his brain cells didn't function correctly from all the headshots. So, in this day and age, it's 2024. Can't we create better helmets for at least, at the very least, quarterbacks? Why can't we? It drives me nuts. I feel you could be right, as he was great skill, but he's not smart enough to protect himself. Look, I think he's a little overrated skill set wise, but he's still really talented. But they might need to force the issue here. You can't force a guy, but you can kind of do everything in your power to kind of encourage it. Strongly encourage it. Make sure no doctors clear him for football activities for the rest of this year. I mean, we see it all the time in wrestling. You see guys like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. I've had too many brain injuries and they're forced to retire early, but they always find a way back eventually through another company. They find a doctor somewhere to clear them, and you can't protect people from themselves sometimes. I get that. They have the guarding caps, but guys don't want to wear them. Why? Why? If I was a football player, I'd be pushing to wear the guarding cap because I'd want to protect this big-ass stupid noggin of mine. I'd want to be able to play as long as possible, collect as many paychecks as possible. Has anybody held or worn a guarding cap that's watching? Why wouldn't you want to wear it? Because it doesn't look cool? Because people think less of you? Or is it not conducive to playing football? Does it, alter how you play football? That's what I want to know about it. Kenny Pickett for a first-round pick. I know there's a lot of people making that joke and commenting on that, Rick. I mean, that'd be fantastic. That'd be typical Howie. I saw a Raiders fan saying Gardner Minshew as well. Skylar Thompson ain't going to. They have playoff aspirations. They're going to need to improve their quarterback play if they do. I just foresee Miami and Tua not doing the smart thing and just sitting down for a long period of time. And they're going to try to bring him back when he's cleared. And it's going to be a big mistake. And, he might not get another concussion this year. But he might also end up becoming paralyzed on the field. I don't know if it was gang side, but you saw his arm, when he was laying on the ground, one of his arms kind of got stuck up in the air. Definitely part of that. Kind of similar. Tommy Joseph would have been a very good catcher on a pretty bad Phillies team, but he had similar pain. Yeah, absolutely. Tommy Joseph had massive concussion. I think most of his concussions came when he was still with the Giants minor league system. But yeah, I don't know how catchers in baseball and umpires to an extent don't have more concussions. When they take foul balls off the mask, those masks must be pretty damn amazing. And if they are that damn amazing, the technology should be used for quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Doesn't all that make sense? No helmet can protect against. It can't protect, but can it maybe lessen it? Improve the odds of not getting one? I don't know. Maybe I'm blind to that, K1. I feel it's smart to wear the extra protection. I would wear it too. I just don't understand. Masquerade as players. So K1 and Nooms are saying that helmets really don't do anything. Well, then that's stupid. Okay. If the helmets actually don't help, then let's create a helmet that does help. Why aren't we trying to protect our athletes? Do we want to see them get destroyed like this? And I know there's going to be old school people that say, Football's a violent sport. That's the risk you take. Damn straight, it's the risk you take. But you know what? If there's a way to make it less risky, let's take it. I saw one of the Livermen at the Atlanta Pittsburgh game where the Guardian cat. Oh, did they? I did not see that. Good for that person, Marshawn. Good for that person. AJ Feely 2024. Good old AJ Feely. The Tua injury was scary, man. I feel for him. Peanut, I agree, man. I feel for the fact that no one's going to step in and counsel him that maybe football should not be played anymore. You can't take his livelihood away. You can't stop him. You can't make the decision for him. But I would be doing everything in my power to encourage him that life is bigger than football. Your life is bigger than a game. But, that's not the way it's going to go. I feel Miami will get him back on the field as soon as he is cleared. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they invested over $200 million in him. They're going to want to return on their money, Bruce. And it's a shame that is where it's all gone. I mean, football is a business. Sometimes management, ownership, executives, I at my pizza shop, I've got decisions to make. Sometimes they're not the most ideal for the immediate future, but big picture, they're the smartest decisions to make. Sometimes you've got to take a step back as a business to take a step forward, and encouraging thoroughly Tua to at least take some time isn't financially, responsible immediately, but big picture is the best for the person and best for the rest of the team. NPR did an article about the Guardian caps. It says the NFL told players they could wear them in games, but players do not. Are they that much like from that article, Anthony? Did they talk about how much more weight they involve? Like they don't look like it adds that much. It's got to add something, I'm sure, and I'm sure it would take some adjusting to. Hell, if I'm the NFL, I'm just making everybody required to wear them. Put it all on equal playing field there. I feel if they have something to protect their heads from snapping back and the Guardian helmets together, then the number. I don't know what you could build to. You can't have them out there in a neck brace per se. But I don't know. You would think in this day and age, it's 2024. It's not 1980. We're smarter people. We're smarter individuals. Somebody's got to be smarter. And somebody's got to find a way to create a smarter way to make football still a fun, entertaining, hard-hitting sport, but a safer sport. The kickoff is trying to protect the players. I kind of feel like the kickoff, it hasn't happened yet. I have a feeling that the kickoff is not really going to protect the players as much. The kick returners are going to get a full running start and be running into defenders and taking some big hits if they ever get to that point. You always have the brain shaking within the cranial, injury no matter what. Look, football's always going to have injuries. I get that, K1. And I don't want football to not be what it is, a hard-hitting, impactful, entertaining sport. But I also believe in the safety of people. I do. Didn't Will Smith make yeah, he did. Yeah. I never watched. I think it was called Concussion. I think it's based off of a true story. I'm not sure the details. I wonder if it's on Netflix. I need something to download to watch on the plane tomorrow. Happy Friday. Yes, Stevie. Crazy spreads. I have all my predictions written down for the week already. All right. I'll go over them. I was already spot on. I called the Bills plus 2.5, and I said Bills outright. I said Bills money line. So I'm 1-0 to start the week off. So on fire right away. I was 1-0 to start last week too, and that didn't turn out too good for me. So we'll see. It's not that the helmets don't help. It's the feeling of invincibility and using it as a weapon. That is a fair comment. Teaching players, at a young age to protect themselves properly could help once they get to the pros. Phil, also, I feel if NFL made a rule that if the quarterback doesn't slide feet first, then it will be a penalty. Yeah, I think that's going. I think that's interesting. I need time to think about this. I don't think you could do that. I don't think that's right. But again, like in other sports, they've made random changes that seem stupid, but really benefit the sport. So maybe force it. Maybe. Elite point. What was Marshawn's last point again? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes, Mitchie Poo, I have 69 subscribers on my personal YouTube channel. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. So Mitchie Poo cannot get so excited about the number of subscribers on my personal page. Please. Miami head coach is on the hot seat. He won't bench Tua. Yeah, I mean, this is going back years. They should never have let Brian Flores go to begin with and moved on to McDaniels. I've never gotten Mike McDaniels, the head coach. Never thought he was anything special. I mean, look at that team last night. They were getting demolished before the injury. What was it, 31-10 before the injury? Tua was throwing pick sixes. They couldn't move the ball. Buffalo was just running all over them. Vontae Burfict, but yeah, Antonio Brown. Absolutely. Talk about a weapon right there. Absolutely. It said an extra pound. Is an extra pound that big of a deal then? They complain about, is one extra pound on your head that big? I kind of feel like that really doesn't make that much of a difference. I feel the penalty route would be the most effective way to stop that kind of stupidity, because no player wants to have his teammates and coaches. Yeah, a penalty maybe if they don't slide or step out of bounds, because you can't have them slide all the time. There's got to be a way. Maybe if a defender lowers his helmet into an offensive player, they get penalized. But offensive players never get penalized for lowering their helmet into a defensive player. A lot of the personal fouls and a lot of the concussions come, not very few of them are because of targeting or launching. There are some, but very few. Most of the time, it's because the offensive player lowers down into the defender, which causes the helmet-to-helmet contact. Maybe there's a scenario where you start penalizing offensive players more for initiating that contact. Maybe that's an important thing to do. It's true, Peanut. And guys, check the link in the description below. Peanut's son wrote a book and published a book. It's linked below to the Amazon link to it. Support my man. Support his kid. They did great work. Guys, I can't recommend you guys checking it out enough. The game would be safer if players didn't wear helmets at all. Honestly, there's a thread there. You're being probably slightly sarcastic, but you might be slightly right, because they wouldn't be going head first. Just put flag football. Just make it flag football, right? Is that what we're going to talk about? This all said, when we are moving at 20 miles an hour and come to a sudden stop, no matter the protection, absolutely correct. You get a concussion in a car accident as well, Nooms, right? I got a concussion when I got hit with a baseball. When you stop a baseball flying at you at 70 miles an hour in your face, you're going to break some bones and you're going to get a concussion. And we see Hurts sliding feet first. He don't want to get the concussion. But when Hurts doesn't slide, he doesn't lower his helmet. He leads with his shoulder, which you don't want him leading with his right shoulder because that's his throwing arm. But he leads with his shoulder pads, not his head. And I think that is another thing, a way to protect yourself. Nooms is correct on the facts, but it won't interfere with the narrative. Look, it's interesting. The narrative isn't necessarily how to make the game safer. It's how to protect the players from themselves. The narrative is, how do we stop Tua from putting himself in the position of taking unnecessary risks? How do we tell Tua, how do we convince Tua that life is bigger than football? Football is not bigger than life. I see you. I'm looking right at you. We've missed you this week. We even talked Buffalo Bills a few times this week. You weren't here for it. Too disappointing. See, the thing is, Mad Chatter, I don't think he is done. I think Miami puts him right back out there as soon as he clears concussion protocol. If he clears concussion protocol today, they'll put him out there to practice next week. I bought the book his son wrote. I appreciate that, Adam. And I'm sure Peanut appreciates it as well. That's a fantastic thing you did there. Bill's run game was on fire last night. It was, absolutely. Vikings stink. We're just randomly talking about other teams now. Stop sliding head first. Absolutely. Easy W for the Bills. It was, actually. And I called it yesterday right here, TMC. I called it, just so you know. The narrative is that helmet technology can protect players from themselves, which is incorrect. Yeah. The conversation needs to be the helmet isn't a weapon. The helmet is there to lessen the blow, protect the blow from the blow, lessen it a little bit. Like an airbag. You get a concussion from an airbag, but it protects you somewhat. It's not there to stop all impact, just lessen the impact. I don't know. The damage is already done for Tua. The rationale thought is on the decrease with each new concussion. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't expect to get into this much of a Tua conversation. I mean, we're 25 minutes into the show and we haven't covered any of the Eagles topics yet. And I don't want to make it the Tua show. But, I think it is an important conversation to have, when talking sports. I mean, things like, I don't have kids, and I don't know how many of you have young kids out there. Peanut has a young son. I have friends that have young kids. It's very hard to want your kid to play football when you see things like Tua happening. Now, I know they're doing things to protect kids nowadays. More flag football leagues early on. You don't start hitting until a certain age now. I get all that. But when my brother's kid told my brother they didn't want to play football this fall for the first time, he wanted to play fall baseball instead. My brother was relieved because he didn't want his kid out there running and hitting and tackling. So I think there's a theory out there, or a thread out there, that the way the game is getting more dangerous as people are more athletic now than they were 20 years ago. They hit harder, they hit faster. They don't want, instead of focusing on fundamental tackling, you still see videos from Little League football leagues of kids just bulldozing over players and them getting hyped up by their players and coaches for huge hit. We got to teach the fundamentals better. We got to teach them now to protect themselves so that when they get there, they're not doing this. We got to teach them now not to lead with their head, that it's not necessary. We don't play the Cowboys. No, not yet. Goodfellows, that again. 12 likes is not enough. Guys, please hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it if you guys go over to my personal YouTube page, linked below. Click subscribe there as well. Get me off of 69 subscribers. Two is just concussion prone, like Steve Young. Steve Young played in the 80s and 90s. Like, it's 2024, man, chatter. Tua should know not to lead with his head, especially in the situation he is personally in with the concussion issues that he has. He should know better. I said he had one more concussion left. It's like a cat with 9 lives, and he just used up his 9th one. Congrats on this. Yeah. No, it's okay that you brought this up. I think it's a very important conversation. I think it's a very interesting discussion on what they need to do to improve the safety of the game. I do truly think it starts at 2 things: science and at the youthful level, teaching the kids at a young level, and also science, finding a way to make the players safer. There's got to be a way, equipment-wise. But again, like you said, penalties, maybe penalize these quarterbacks for this. Maybe legislate, like rules, would have to go into it. I have a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old. My kids both play flag football league. Well, that's good that they're playing the flag football at this point, because there's no need for 10-year-olds to be taking huge hits. Teach them the fundamentals of playing football and competitiveness. And then, all right, if they want to keep playing in middle school when they get to like they're 12 years old or 14 years old, all right, then start teaching them the fundamentals of hitting and how to hit in the chest and keep your head out of the, upright, so you're not getting, pounded like that. I feel the Eagles will dominate Atlanta. We'll get to the keys to victory in my prediction Monday on the show. Scheduling note: Monday and Tuesday's show will be later in the morning. I leave for Mexico tomorrow morning for my yearly anniversary trip. My wife and I will be celebrating 18 years of marriage next week. So we're going to Cancun for 5 days. So Monday and Tuesday morning, I don't know. It's going to be set up. It'll be set up at 11 a.m., but it's just going to be whenever I'm done breakfast, before I decide to go out to the bar to have my first drink, I'll go live somewhere between 10 and 11 a.m. next week, Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, we got a special substitute host while I fly home. But we will do keys to victory and predictions on Monday. I do feel the Eagles will dominate. Plus, on a side note, to bring the first Eagles topic into the day, it's Nick Foles' retirement game. He's an honorary captain. He's going to be there, speak before the game. There's no way the Philadelphia Eagles lose on Monday Night Football to Kirk Cousins, to the Falcons on Nick Foles' retirement day. There's no way. I would be shocked if the Eagles don't try to run a Philly in his honor on Monday Night Football. Kind of feel like you have to, right? Dolphins ain't going to get it done with that roster. It's a shame. They got a great running back. They got great wide receivers. It is. Time for a topic change. Yeah, we're going to move into Eagles here. We're going to move into NFL games and stuff like that. What's up? What's up there, K1? I see you. Von Miller has almost as many sacks as tackles all last year. Well, I don't know. We don't play the Cowboys till November 10th the first time. Phil, my brother got a bad head and neck injury, and now he can't walk, so I feel the NFL. Well, I'm sorry about that, Bruce, and that's a shame. But it's we got to be smarter. We do. Thank you very much. Yeah, 18 years on Tuesday will be our anniversary. Monday night versus Falcons, easy W, absolutely. Going to the game Monday, fantastic. I love it. Hope you got your tickets on. I'm not sure if you did, but you are the poster child, Adam. Wherever you got your tickets, I know you can vouch for SherryTickets.com, whether you need Eagles tickets, concert tickets, theater tickets. Go to SherryTickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. Great prices, no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. And check this out. If you use promo code EOP10 at checkout, on top of their great prices, you're going to save an additional 10%. So why would you overpay with the rest? Save with the best. SherryTickets.com, guys. Make sure you check them out. And right back to the comments here. We're going to slowly transition to a little Eagles talk, practice talk, some conversations I want to have about the Eagles. What? Get that Falcons energy out of here, Joe. Get it out of here. No way the Eagles lose on Nick Foles retirement night. Sorry to hear about your, yeah, exactly. You know, that's sad to hear. Jalen mentioned the Phillies special in his press conference. I'm expecting it for sure. You kind of have to. I need a video clip of Jalen Hurts running over to Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni and going, yo, you want to run the Philly? And Kellen Moore saying, nah. And then Nick Sirianni saying, yeah. And they run it. The power trip comes on the Philly call. Who's in charge? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Happy. Yeah. Thank you. What's this? 18 years I listened to Jimmy Buffett out in John Disciple. Hey, she is. But she's a huge Jimmy Buffett fan. She's the one that got me as a parrot head, just so you know. She took me to my first Jimmy Buffett concert. Eagles win Monday. That's a pretty close to what I'll probably predict. I'm not sure. But let's talk about the Eagles a little bit. So Devin White, Isaiah Rodgers, back to practice. Full participants at practice. Devin White spoke. I don't know if it was before or after practice. It was later in the evening when I watched the video. And I want to talk about Devin White for a minute. Look, we all talked about for a while now how Hassan Reddick was a problem maybe in the locker room. Devin White does not sound happy. I am a body language guy. I'm a facial expression guy. I'm a tone in your voice. Not the words, but the tone of the words. And I know Devin White said all the good things. I'm here, whatever they ask of me. I want to get on the field. I'll be ready when my number's called. Devin White said all the right things on Thursday. But I kind of felt like there's something bubbling inside of him, a little boiling. The kettle's about to boil and the lid's about to come off. I am worried that Devin White isn't happy in this role, and that can cause a rift. He was asked, did Vic Fangio even tell you were not going to start? And he said, nah. And he had like this little smirk on his face. Now, I see a lot of people talking about getting Devin White on the field as an outside edge rusher. I don't know if he's capable of doing that or not. Some people believe he can. Now, while I said we got to keep Devin White because we need the depth at linebacker because Nakobe Dean is never healthy, I also kind of feel like you don't want a disgruntled Devin White in your locker room. So you either A, have to move on from him for that reason, or B, you've got to find a way to get him on the field somewhat. He's never played a down of special teams in his entire NFL career, so he's not going to do that. Is anybody else concerned there? Now, Isaiah Rodgers is the next thing that came out. He had a broken hand. He should be on track to play, which means he'll start on the outside in nickel position. He'll be on the outside in nickel formation. Quinyon will be on the outside in base formation, and Quinyon will go to the slot in nickel, which they ran a lot of nickel on Friday night last week. So Isaiah Rodgers should be back. So the Avonte Maddox experience should be over. I just have no clue how. Nobody in Philadelphia Eagles media got the information that Isaiah Rodgers had surgery 3 weeks ago on a broken hand. It's a pretty good night for a Friday night. I love how honest Fangio is. Yeah, absolutely. We spent a lot of time this week talking about Vic Fangio. It's crazy how a little bit of honesty from our coaches resonates with the fans so much. So much. One more thing on the head leading. It was directly responsible for DeMar Hamlin's. Yeah. And oddly, I don't know if it was ironic or coincidental or I don't know what word I'm looking, but the guy that made the hit or the tackle or got ran into by Tua on that play, I believe was DeMar Hamlin. It's weird how that all worked together there, and he was in on that play. Bijan averaged 3.8 yards per carry. Steelers, Eagles need to stop him. Absolutely. And the other injury was Milton Williams was limited participant with a foot injury. I'm concerned about that. I need more from Milton Williams, not less. Moro Ojomo's going to get more snaps. That means if he can't go, we're going to go with Thomas Booker, the 5-time WCW champion. I don't know. Third year in a row that the Eagles are playing Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football. Third year in a row. I love it. You know why? Because I've been in Mexico for 3 straight years on this weekend. So it guarantees me primetime Eagles watching in Mexico, and they'll have it on at the resort. I don't have to worry about finding an illegal stream. Like 4 years ago, they played on a Sunday, and I'm sitting there watching an illegal stream on my cell phone. I met Jimmy Buffett in person at the Green in Key West in 2015. Really down-to-earth guy. Saw him at oh, my God. Seriously? Seriously? Why do you think I say bubbles up at the end of every show, Rick? This is insane. Me and you need to be best friends forever now. Like, I hated Jimmy Buffett, Rick, early on in my life. Because I thought he was just Jimmy Buffett was just Margaritaville and cheeseburger. And I hosted karaoke for 2 straight years on cruise ships. And every single day, 3 people got to poorly sing Cheeseburger in Paradise or Margaritaville. And I was just so tired of going, salt, salt, salt. Like, it was just nauseating. But then my wife and I, when we first started dating, she's like, we're going to go to a Jimmy Buffett concert. The tailgate, we're leaving my house at like 5 a.m. for a tailgate. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? And then I got to the tailgate and I was like, oh my God, I got to find out more about this lifestyle. And now literally 90% of my music listening to is Radio Margaritaville in my car. Yeah, I read his stuff. I just love the guy. It's the greatest. And we're going to a Margaritaville in Cancun. So that's where we stay when we go to Mexico. 2 contract, 67 guaranteed. Yeah. I feel as though Devin White was told when signing here that he was going to be the starter, and now it appears. So yeah, that is probably true. Joe, he probably was told that. And I see what you're trying to do, but I'm not going to fall for the trick. I don't want Mister to lose any money today. It's Friday. We can't have Mister losing money on a Friday morning. Devin White will be fine. Stop pushing the false narratives. I'm not pushing a narrative. It's not a narrative. It's an opinion. And my opinion is we spent how much time talking was Hassan Reddick, the problem in the locker room last year. We don't need a problem in the locker room this year. Just saying. Maybe we flip Devin White for Hassan Reddick. Just kidding. I don't want Hassan Reddick here. Devin will get in on pass rushing downs. And for you guys that know more about X's and O's than me, I see a lot of people pushing the narrative that Devin White could play on the outside and maybe get some pass rushing and get after the quarterback. So maybe you have a Dean, Bond, and White on the field. Because we know Bryce Huff ain't it yet. We know Nolan Smith can't get after the guy. You can't expect Brandon Graham to play 50% of snaps all year long. Maybe Devin White's now an outside guy. You don't want him dropping back into coverage, I don't think. But on blitzing, maybe. I'm protecting you, mister. I'm protecting you. Yeah, me and Rick are going to go get real tight now because of that. Because because of that. Okay, I feel the need to take the nope, 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 nope. There's some hints, going on here. I don't know if he's washed or not. Peanut, not sure on that. My buddy used to date a girl that worked at the Margaritaville in Key West. When we went to Key West for Christmas last year, that was the first stop we had to make. We had to. We had to. That's an awesome story, though. That's pretty damn awesome. I will never get down with Buffett or Matthews. I was a huge Dave Matthews fan. Still am to an extent. I just spent way too much money going to Dave Matthews concerts in college. I mean, hell, I lived in the vet parking lot for 2 nights, for 3 days in my van with my friends, going to 3 straight Dave Matthews concerts on a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. So I burned myself out on DMB, and I don't like their newer stuff. Once Leroy Moore passed away, even though he was a bad person, once Boyd Tinsley got kicked out of the band, I just couldn't get into them anymore. The replacements weren't the same vibe. I still think Carter Buford is the most underrated drummer of all time in rock and roll. He's fantastic. Parrotheads are even weirder than Swifties. Why? Because we like to drink, and we like to party, and we like to chillax. We like to go fins up. That's it. That's all we are. We're the level-headed, chill people there are in the business. You know who's best in the business? You know who it is? PhillySportsTrips.com. If you need to travel or go to a tailgate to support your favorite Philadelphia sports team, head on over to PhillySportsTrips.com. Check out their website, okay? Sign up, mention EOP, mention Training the AM. They have a lot of great Eagles takeover trips happening all over their website. You can go down to Tampa to see the Eagles in a few weeks. You can go up to New York in October to see the return of Saquon Barkley to New York to see the Eagles beat up on the Giants. The bus trip to Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium. That'd be a great trip, honestly. Not a super long ride. And, of course, the Dallas takeover. When Philly fans march down to Dallas, well, fly, but march into Dallas, take over the stadium, and cheer our Eagles as they whoop some Cowboys' ass. They also have great trips up to, there's a trip to Penn State. You can go down to spring training with them. It's a little too late. This is tomorrow, but they had a trip to Miami to see the Union play. Guys, PhillySportsTrips.com. Check them out. Mention EOP. Guys, you'll have a great time with them. You'll never disappointed with any Philly Sports Trips, packages, guys. So make sure you check them out, guys. Back to the comments here. I did the Tampa Bay trip last year. It was so much fun through Philly Sports Trips. So we got Adam, hands-on experience with Sherry tickets, and we got Anthony, hands-on experience with Philly Sports Trips. What more do you want than first-hand accounts from the people actually using them? And I love it. What are your favorite songs from Old Dirty Bastard? I couldn't name an Old Dirty Bastard song, but when I hear his voice, I know it's him. Do you not see my thing? I was driving in the car yesterday, and I was just paging through channels, and I just heard, I wish I was a little bit taller. I was like, oh, my God. Why do I hear Skilo on the radio so much lately? I don't know. Bus trip to Baltimore. You couldn't pay me. You don't want to be. I kind of feel like K1 would be the first person whacked by the serial killer on the bus trip to Baltimore because he just wouldn't be smart enough to realize, let's hide behind the chainsaws, not get in the moving vehicle. He'd be the sacrificial lamb that we know we're not on a bus trip to Baltimore. We're on the bus trip to Baltimore. Bring the Ruckus is the best Wu-Tang Clan song. Yeah, let's not get into all that. I'm not prepared for that conversation. I don't have enough Wu-Tang deep knowledge for that one. Let's stick to the Eagles for now. All right, guys, let's stick to the Philadelphia Eagles. So some think Devin White's a problem. Some think he doesn't. Isaiah Rodgers is back. Nick Sirianni also spoke. And look, I know. I'm uber positive always on Jalen Hurts. I'm uber positive always on Nick Sirianni. But he said something yesterday in his press conference that no one's talking about. All right. And it kind of annoyed me. And he was asked, what's the message you're giving your team this week as you get set to get back to work and face the Atlanta Falcons? And he said, we want to work on the fundamentals and details. Well, what in the holy blue hell have we been doing since July? Hell, June, first OTA. What have we been doing? And you still, after 1 week, have to continue to work on the fundamentals? We're going to work on our bad tackling techniques. And they started and ended practice with tackling drills. What have we been doing? Shouldn't the fundamentals and details been drilled in for the last 4 or 5 weeks of training camp and OTAs? And I don't know why that annoys me so much. I mean, he was very honest about the turnover battle, bringing up in his press conference how there are 12 teams that lost the turnover battle in week 1, and the Eagles were the only one to win their game. So it's not sustainable doing that. And I like that he has an emphasis on creating turnovers and preventing turnovers, because it's not just create or preventing turnovers, it's creating turnovers as well. That's important. And Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football, we should be able to pick him off once or twice. But why doesn't it seem like I was watching, I was scouring social media. I didn't see one person. I put out a tweet about it, and nobody even responded to it in a positive or negative way. Why is nobody concerned that Nick Sirianni is already talking about in week 2 working on the fundamentals? Kind of means like training camp was a complete waste of time, right? Like, I don't know. What are we doing in practice on a daily basis that this has still got to go on? I would definitely be the first victim. Yeah, you definitely strike me as the guy. I love that. I forget which insurance commercial it was, where they're in like a horror scene movie, and they're trying to, like, let's go hide behind the chainsaws. Why can't we just get in the moving vehicle? Are you crazy? And they go run and hide behind the chainsaws, and the serial killer's there just like shaking his head like, you're making it too easy. Maybe the Eagles told Isaiah Rodgers that they wouldn't come out to the media about his injury to keep it private on his behalf. Yeah, look, we're all upset that the 49ers cheated and didn't announce information on Christian McCaffrey. Now, they ruled Isaiah Rodgers out like a day early. Do you would think we would have known about Isaiah Rodgers being that badly injured much sooner? Sirianni looked pissed the whole game in Brazil. It might just be his constipated look that he's got all the time. I don't know. Well, he couldn't have been happy, because although we won and although we played a good game, there was still bad tackling on defense. Our defense did not create the turnovers we needed in the big moments. Nakobe Dean dropped that big pick 6. So there's a reason for him to be pissed off. And if he would have focused his press conference on that turnover battle and started with that and not started with the message is fundamentals, it just annoys me. My X account has been deleted. Well, it was deleted earlier this week, briefly, just so you know. So I hope it's not deleted again, just so you know. I have a little slight sneaky suspicion on why it got deleted this week. Well, not deleted, suspended, and then it got put in temporary timeout mode, and then I got it back all within like a 6-hour span. But god damn, watch who you chat with and who you do business with. That's all I gotta say. Best show to binge of the following: True Blood, Sons of Anarchy, Mad Men, The Killing, House MD, Disappeared. It's a lot. We're in the middle of Breaking Bad right now. We've binged Mad Men. The final season of Mad Men sucked, in my opinion, but the rest of the show is fantastic. Mad Men's final season keeps it from making the top 5 shows. It's a top 10 show of all time. Sons of Anarchy is a fantastic show. House, I've never binged it, but I've watched plenty of it. I have never seen The Killing, and I've never seen True Blood, so I can't answer those two on that one. Phil, you need help. You need to stop doxing customers who piss you off. I don't know what that has to do with Twitter or this, but you know. But yeah, I do shout out my customers on Twitter a little too much, probably. That piss me off. Being a good tackler is like being a kung fu monk. It's not a job, it's a way of life. It's a weird, fun, but honestly accurate way of saying it. Never compared a good football tackler to a kung fu monk. But yeah, I get it. It just, I don't know. And like, even bringing it up here in the comments, like, no one seems phased like me that Nick Sirianni's got to bring up fundamentals already in the season. And you know, you're going up against Bijan Robinson, who is going to run the ball a lot. You better be able to tackle him. Yeah, he didn't run well against the Pittsburgh defense, But if you have those same tackling techniques on Monday night, there's a chance he rushes for 80, 90, 100 yards. Just not thrilled with it. Kelsey saying his tits were struggling on the ESPN set was cold. He forgot. Yeah, exactly. Look, Jason Kelsey won't make it long term on the pregame show like that. Eventually, when Travis Kelsey retires, they're going to bump the Manning cast off, and they're going to make the Kelsey cast. And that is where he is more suited to being. And his humor and his personality can shine, in my opinion. Or another network. Isn't it Amazon already has a deal with them for their podcast? Somebody like Amazon's going to swoop in and put them on a Manning cast type thing on their network for sure. And they'll be 10 times more entertaining than him on the pre or post game show. I don't know if you're going to get Phillies got 7 in the next 10. I've mentioned it a few times already. The next 10 games are crucial. But Joe, my question earlier in the show, is it important to win, say, 7 of the next 10 games or 6 of the next 10 games? Or is it important to get healthy for the playoffs? If we go 5-5 in the next 10, Joe, but everyone's healthy after those 10 games, is that more important than 7-3? And then 1 or 2 of those guys are still banged up? I want the 1 seed. I do. But I also want a fully healthy team come playoff time. So I think it's going to be interesting. And look, the Mets are a red-hot team. The Brewers are playing great baseball right now. I think it's important to get some wins here, but health is number 1 in my opinion, above all else. When you can't tackle during camp and don't play stars in preseason, then of course tackling the first game is going to suck. See, the thing is, though, K1, a lot of the starters played in the preseason on the defensive side of the ball. So they were tackling. Not every one of them, but a majority of them were playing. Some of them played a lot. Nolan Smith was playing, 30 minutes of the game. After 40, if I bump my head on a cabinet, I'm finger moving the way air. Yeah. My head doesn't bother me as much as my back and my leg does. But yeah, I'm worried that Jason Kelsey may have a drinking problem. Yeah, he likes to drink beer. There's not enough time in the day to drink enough. That's his problem. ESPN Monday Night pregame is live from Xfinity Live from 6 to 8. Oh, that's going to be a raucous crowd there, Adam. I'm sure you'll pop your head on through there. Adam, I will give you $500 worth of free pizza if you get behind the camera and hold up a sign that says trending in the AM and it shows up on ESPN, $500 of free pizza. If I get you, you're going to the game. So if you are on camera holding up a sign that says trending in the AM, the #1 morning show in Philadelphia, $500 of free pizza. Maybe more. We can negotiate this. All right? You get that? Yeah, just going to say. Just going to say it. I need to say it. On the pregame show, $500 of free food. Just going to say. Taylor Swift has a drinking problem. Look, hey, whatever. You have 6 games after that. Washington Cubs, you rest up then. Hopefully have 1 or 2 seed and we get the additional. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't know, Joe. But I get your theory there. That's at least $500. A Big Daddy is $20. Yeah, that's 21 slice pizza. So that's 20 of those. A large cheese is $12.99. A lot more than 10. All right, so what should I give him then, Kale? If he gets on screen holding up a trending in the AM, the #1 morning show in Philadelphia sign on ESPN, what's a fair price for that? I know ESPN would charge me like $1 million for that advertisement. Does that include the boxes? $669 for the free food. All right, I agree with Mitchie Poo on that one. Adam challenge accepted. Hey, Peanut, if we get 2 people on camera doing it, you and Adam, you'll each get $500 worth of free pizza. I will do it. You're going to watch the pregame show. I'll try. I'm going to be in Mexico. They will have the game on the TV in Mexico, but ESPN plays ESPN. There's a pregame Mexican language show that they play. So I don't know if I'll be able to find the regular pregame show, but I'm sure someone could find the video and snap it for me. Phillies just need 8 wins. The Mets could sweep all 7, but if the Phillies won their other 9 games, it wouldn't matter. Okay. It may get Matty going, but that would be more entertainment. Matty B will not be the special host on Wednesday when I am flying home from Mexico. Freddie Burns will be, and he did a great job a few weeks ago the last time he filled in for me. So you guys will have him on Wednesday. Again, Monday and Tuesday's show will be a little bit later in the day, about 10, 11 a.m., somewhere in that time frame. We'll see how early I wake up on my vacation. If Adam wears a Kenny Gainwell jersey, I'll throw in another $100. If Adam owns a Kenny Gainwell jersey, then that's just wrong in and of itself. But what's a fair price for Adam to hold up a sign on camera on ESPN that says trending in the AM, number one morning show in Philadelphia? Dude, hell, I'll give you a free large pizza and order of wings every single week for the rest of the football season, Adam, if you get on ESPN with that sign. Is that fair? You like the large taco pizza or large barbecue chicken, a large gourmet pizza, and 8 barbecue wings every single Eagles game going forward for the rest of the year if you get that sign on TV. Now that's much more than $500 worth of food, guys, okay? Number 45 says the Haitians migrants are eating out. I just picture Alf somewhere in the Midwest eating cats. Like, that's all I think of. You make that sign up, you get it on ESPN, and then I need a picture of it. Guys, this is a challenge. I'm putting the challenge out there to Adam. I am. What if your pizza sucks? Well, I've been in business for almost 17 years, okay? I'm pretty sure it's pretty solid. I mean, I don't survive 17 years of business without a pretty solid pizza, just saying. I don't know. I didn't know they sold Kenny. Yeah, I didn't know either. I'll need $50 to whatever charity Adam wants if he does it. And you know what? Validate. Yeah, absolutely. So you're getting free pizza and wings for the rest of the football season, and you're getting $50 to a charity of your choice if you get on camera. What else are we throwing in here, guys? What else are we throwing in the pot for Adam to get on camera with a trending in the AM sign? What else? Everybody else has got to put this in here, okay? Please. This has got to happen. I don't know why, but now I'm dead set. It has to happen. I'm going to make sure everybody's watching it, looking out for this sign. It has to happen, guys. Has to. I love it. The things that we come up with on this show. I don't really have any T-shirts left, Adam, but I'm not worried about promoting Foxes. Foxes does fine on its own. I want this show. I want this show to blow up so Foxes can go away, and I could just stick to doing this more frequently. I will chip in. All right, so we got $50 from Peanut. We got 69 cents from Mitchie Poo. I'd appreciate $69, not 69 cents, Mitchie Poo, but we'll let you slide. We know you're still just 12 years old and you have to crack your piggy bank. Hey, that's fine. That's fine. But I'm sticking to the over. I'm sticking the over for Mista. Mista needs the money today. We're going to hit the over today. All right, guys? But you are watching Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Guys, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button. Go in the description. Find all the links. Click on every link in the description. Please, I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. But liking, sharing, and subscribing, it's free to do, guys. We're trying to build this into the number one morning show in Philadelphia, not just in theory, but in actuality and in ratings, guys. So please do me that favor. Please do that. I'd greatly appreciate it. We are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. every single day, covering all Philly sports. Guys, anyone want to talk Flyers? Just for 2 seconds. Before I do any more ad reads, before I get into my NFL picks, I just want to mention that Jason Martinez, I was following him, and he's obviously a big Flyers guy. And he was talking about how Matvei Michkov looked yesterday in Flyers rookie camp that's going on right now. I think there's a rookie game going on tonight. I don't know if it's televised or not. But let me tell you something. When I was reading Martinez's tweets last night about the Flyers and Michkov, I got goosebumps. Like the hair, and there's a lot of hair on my arm. The hair on my arm start to stand up. It's like, oh my God. K1's going to get his wish of Flyers talk this year on this show. Maybe not every day. Not entire shows dedicated. But there's going to be Flyers talk on Trending in the AM this year. As we start to kick off the 4th season of this show, the Flyers are back on the agenda on a regular basis. Holy crap. Can you imagine? I'm excited. And the reports of how he looks, and he doesn't look like a rookie. He's just dominating the rookies and the youngins at the camp. Man, I'm just so excited to be excited or have a reason to be excited about Flyers hockey again. Oh man. But Adam likes his food. Adam comes into my pizza shop roughly like 3 to 4 times a month. So I'm giving him something that's going to pay off big time over time. That's more the way we're going here. The Flyers said it will be on YouTube. Oh, it will be on YouTube. Well, I got a busy ass night tonight though. It's Friday night at the pizza shop. I got to get home and finish packing after work. So I'm going to get home from work at like 9:30. Going to finish packing. I got to clean the house up, get things ready for the dog sitter. I got to be up at 3:30 in the a.m. because my flight leaves so goddamn early in the morning. But, you know, it is what it is. I can't wait for Michkov this year. This is such an exciting time. I feel like it's Lindros's rookie season for the older generation that watches this show. Do you remember how excited you were when Eric Lindros was a rookie? That is how I feel with Michkov right now. Puck talk, that's right. Not detailed puck talk today, but puck talk in general. Maybe I'll try to get Martinez on for a morning episode one day before the season starts. Can there be a Joe Hendry episode on Trending? What do you want a Joe Hendry episode for? I'm already over Joe Hendry. I don't believe in him anymore. They missed their opportunity to strap that rocket ship to him. He should be champion somewhere by now, but he's not. It does feel like Lindros. I remember when Lindros got traded, you know, after the draft to the Flyers for Peter Forsberg and whatever else that trade had. I remember hearing it, be like, my dad explained it to me. I was probably like, it was like 91, I think. I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I forget what year it was exactly. And him trying to explain to me the importance of it. And it was great. It was great. Forster, Frost, Michkov line going to be fire. Like, so here's a serious question for Flyers fans that have paid more attention than me the last few years. I won't lie. I've kind of stopped watching a little bit the last few years. Is there enough talent on the Flyers right now that adding an elite prospect like Michkov that we can actually win this year? Not win the Stanley Cup, but should the expectations to make the playoffs as a wild card team this year? Or do we still have to be patient? I still don't think they have their goalie situation situated. Carter Hart, obviously, that whole thing. And I'm not sure if I'm confident enough in our goalie situation from last year to be much better this year. But can we put expectations that we should be able to make the playoffs? I mean, we almost did last year. The collapse at the end of the season kind of stopped that. October 19th, Flyers home opener against the Canucks. Use SherryTickets.com. It's a go for the sign. I'm getting my brother to make it up. Hey, I love it. And if anybody's going to get on camera with that sign, Adam will find a way. All right. I've heard a lot of talk about Frost as well. Absolutely. They will make the playoffs this year. All right. That's what I like to hear. Sam Emerson doesn't fill me with exactly. I was going to say Emerson. I was like, why am I thinking Emerson? So let me not say his name. Erson. Like he took over for Carter Hart, but to me, he strikes me as a backup goalie that's forced to be the starter. And until we have even a decent starting goalie, I can't be overly high on expectations. Hype, yes, but expectations, no. So, yeah. Flyers were the number 3 seed last year before the goalie situation collapsed. Definitely a playoff team. But it's the same goalie situation this year. That's the problem, Anthony. That's the problem. Anyway, guys, I think that's enough Flyers talk for now. I think I did my fill. When was the last time I spent 8 minutes on a show in Trending in the AM talking Flyers? That's what the Flyers got us doing, talking Flyers. I love it. I love it, guys. You know what else I love? I love Dolan's Bar. Tricked you there, guys. I did, didn't I? 2040 Sellers Avenue in Ridley Park. Dolan's Bar for 65 plus years has been the number 1 Irish American dive bar, quintessential Irish American dive bar in Delaware County. Great food, great times. Check them out for the big game. DolansBar.com online, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, on social media. When you go in, tell PJ and the crew, Edge of Philly Sports and Trending in the AM sent you. I'd greatly appreciate it if you do that, guys. But check them out. Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park, guys. You thought I was going to go somewhere else, but I did. I think they should get a veteran goalie to start and let Erson build his confidence. Ivan Fedotov will be a good goalie this year. Maybe 4 minutes at most. No, it was before the hour mark. It was like the 57-minute mark when I started, and we're still talking about it. So it was like the 57-minute mark to the hour and 5-minute mark. So we're hitting about 8 minutes at this point because the comments are still flowing in. Thanks for. Hey, it is my anniversary weekend. I'm going to Mexico, my man. The most average 4 minutes of your life right there, right, K1? All right. Let's get to football here. All right. Let's get to the NFL. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to give you my predictions for every Sunday NFL game. Last week, I went over every game in the NFL. I went 8-7-1. If you bet what I bet and you lose, you cannot call David R. Cherry, the Cherry Law Firm. You cannot sue me for losing bets. But if you need a workers' compensation lawyer, if you need a motor vehicle accident lawyer, personal injury, criminal law, call David R. Cherry, the Cherry Law Firm, 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for you and get you what you deserve. He's the best there is at all these things there. So why don't you go check him out? Again, that number is 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Back to the comments, and we're going to start my predictions here as always. As always, Crosby sucks. Does Crosby still even play? I haven't heard a single Crosby hate tweet in a long time. Maybe just because I haven't been paying close attention to hockey for a little while. Is Sidney Crosby like 60 by now, I feel like? I mean, he was playing with Mario Lemieux. Man, crazy times. But anyway, it's time to go over the complete NFL slate of games, all my predictions for every game. I actually really like a couple games this week. I was all over the Bills money line last night. I hope you were too. I think it was, I forget now, it was like plus 130, plus 140, something like that. It was a strong, strong bet. So we're 1-0 to start the week off, which is great. I was 2-0 last week to start the week off. So hopefully we can do better this week. There is one game I love. Stone cold lock for me, in my opinion, on Sunday. But a lot of 1 o'clock games. So you got the Thursday night game, you have Sunday night and Monday night. There's only 3 4 o'clock games. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 10 1 o'clock games this week on the slate, okay? First one on the slate that in my list here. Saints go to Dallas. Dallas Cowboys are 6-point favorites. Sorry, New Orleans Saints. Sorry, Eagles fans. I know you blew out the Panthers last week. I got the Cowboys covering the 6 points. Saints are an okay team, but the Cowboys are going to get in their rhythm. I think the Cowboys smoke the Saints on Sunday. Second game on my slate is my favorite bet. It's my stone cold lock, okay? The Bucks travel to Detroit to take on the Lions at 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Lions are 7.5-point favorites. I am smashing the Bucks plus 7.5. I don't know if the Bucks win or not, okay? I'm not sure. But the Bucks will 100% cover. The Bucks are one of the most underappreciated teams in the NFL. They're a solid team. They're a playoff team. Baker Mayfield played great in week 1. He's going to play great this week. Bucks plus 7.5 is such an easy bet to make. Saints cover the 6. I don't know. I wouldn't bet the game, K1, no matter what. I predict every game. I'm going to track my win-loss record, etc. But I would not bet that game. I'm just going to pick the Cowboys in that game. Crosby said he is going to play into his 40s. He's 37. Okay. Bucks definitely cover. I think it's a slam dunk play there. Another one on the Saints plus 6. I don't buy the Saints, guys. Not yet. Not yet. It's in Dallas and stuff like that. I think the Bucks is much easier to say a slam dunk play than the Cowboys Saints game. Colts go to Green Bay. Green Bay's home opener. Packers are 2.5-point dogs. So the Colts are 2.5-point favorites. With the Jordan Love injury situation, I'm taking the Colts minus 2.5. Next game, Jets go to Tennessee. The Titans are a plus 4 dog. I'm taking the Titans. Actually, I'm taking the Titans outright over the Jets, not just to cover the 4 points. Man, that Saints D is good. It's always a good D. I just don't trust their offense. And if they can get pressure and create some turnovers, there was VCP for the first time today. Maybe they keep it close, but I'll still take the Cowboys in that one. Love the Bucks. I think the Bucks is such an easy one. Cowboys win by at least 14. See, I was thinking like 10 to 12 at them, but I could see it for sure. For sure, I could see that. So Titans plus 4, slam dunk it. Well, not slam dunk, but a good bet outright for me, in my opinion. Next game, 49ers head to Minnesota. Minnesota's plus 5.5. So Niners are 5.5-point favorites on the road. 49ers win there. Potentially a double-digit blowout loss for the Vikings there in week 2. Next game, Seattle travels to the Patriots. The Patriots are 3.5-point dogs at home. I don't buy the Patriots. I know they won last week against the Bengals, but they ain't going to win. I hate West Coast going East Coast much more than I hate East Coast going West Coast. But the Pats are not a good team. Seattle wins that game, so they cover the 3.5 points as well in that game. Colts and Jets. So I got the Colts, but I have the Titans. Okay, so we're flip-flopping on those there, Steve. Again, I don't know if you tracked your picks from last week. I was 8-7-1 last week. Not very good. So I'm hoping to be better this week. All right? So, yeah, so I got the Seahawks covering that. Next game. This is a tough one to predict. Giants at Washington. Washington's 1.5-point favorites in that game. The Giants stink. But I kind of feel like the Commanders, we might have overhyped the Commanders, and the Commanders might stink too. I'm taking Washington in the 1.5 points just because the silly nannies, a.k.a. the Giants, are just not a good football team. In fact, they might be the worst team in football. So I'll take the Commanders reluctantly. I agree with that, K1. 2.5 and 3.5 point spreads scare me. Anything under 3.5 scares me, honestly, because basically you're just picking it. It's a pick 'em for the most part. So you better be confident whichever way you bet they're going to win the game. Anthony, what do you know about the Saints D? Pause. I like New England. Geno sucks. I don't think the Saints are good, or the Seahawks are good, but the Patriots are bad. I don't think their defense is good as it really looked last week. Panthers are much worse than the Giants. Yeah. I did a poll. There, I said poll. Everybody do a shot. Mitchie Poo. Last week, who's got a worse quarterback situation? The Giants or the Panthers? And the Giants won that conversation, just so you know. Poll by a significant amount. That's pretty average. Pretty average. All right, so I did that. All right, next game on the card. Chargers versus Packers or Panthers. Chargers visit Carolina for the Panthers. The Chargers are 6-point favorites on the road, so the Panthers are the underdogs in the game, obviously. I don't like the Chargers. Don't like the Panthers. But you got to take the Chargers in the 6 points. You just got to. I mean, I wouldn't bet it because it's a West Coast going East Coast. But, man, the Panthers are probably, like K1 says, the worst team in football. So you got to take the Chargers and the points there, in my opinion. Next game on the card, Cleveland Browns take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. In Jacksonville, the Jags are 3-point favorites against the Browns. Deshaun Watson's done, guys. The Browns might have to go to Jameis Winston at some point in the next couple of weeks. I'll take the 3 points and the Jags. Honestly, I kind of feel like that's an easy bet to make. I would be comfortable stretching that for extra points and going to -4, -5, honestly, on that to get better odds, honestly. I think that's a very easy bet to make there. Final 1 o'clock game, Raiders visit Baltimore and the Ravens. Ravens are 9-point favorites. And I really want to bet the Ravens -9. I do. And the Ravens are coming off of a tough loss against the Chiefs. I have picked the Ravens on my list here, but I do it very reluctantly just because I don't know. The Gardner Minshew personality? I just don't know if he gets blown out or not. I'll take the Ravens, but reluctantly. So again, my Sunday slate, I'm taking the Cowboys and the points. I'm taking Bucks and I'm taking the 6 points that the Cowboys are being. I'm betting the Cowboys. I'm betting the Bucks +7.5, Colts -2.5, Titans +4, 49ers -5.5, Seattle -3.5, Washington -1.5, Chargers -6, Jags -3, Ravens -9. That's where I'm going right there on those games. You can get 2 tickets to the Panthers games for $2.80. That is so freaking pathetic. Does the NFL still black out games? I would guess the Panthers game gets blacked out in their market. I got Washington as well. I got the Chargers. Have to take them. You kind of have to, don't you? I kind of feel obligated to. I got the Jags as well there. Okay, getting into 3, 4 o'clock games. First one, very interesting division rival. Rams are 1-point dogs to the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona in that 4 o'clock division matchup. I don't buy the Cards being good. I know they put up a decent fight against the Bills. Maybe I'm a little Kyler Murray biased because I hate him. I think he's one of the most overhyped quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm taking the Rams. Maybe also because I predicted the Rams are going to make the playoffs. 1-point line is basically a pick 'em. Who do you think is going to win the game? So I'm taking the Rams in that game there. I feel confident there. I have Vegas +8. I don't know. It's a tough line, man. It's a tough line and a tough game there. Home opener had 100 people in the stands. Crazy. There's probably more than 100 people there. Rams all day. I agree with that. I don't buy the Cardinals being any good. Plus, Kyler Murray popped up on the injury list this week. I believe it was a knee or an ankle issue. Steelers head to Denver to the Mile High City. Steelers are 2.5-point favorites over the home Broncos. Steelers defense looked great. Justin Fields will be starting again. The Broncos are not a good football team. I'll take the Steelers and the points in that game as well. Final game of the 4:00 slate. The awful Bengals head to Kansas City. The Chiefs are only 5.5-point favorites. And that scares me. I'm taking the Chiefs in the 5.5 points. But the Chiefs won Thursday night. So extra rest. They beat a very good Super Bowl contending Ravens team. The Bengals lost to the Patriots. The Bengals looked awful. The Bengals are only 5.5-point dogs. So I am picking the Chiefs to cover, but I would not bet that game. That line of 5.5 points scares the living bejesus out of me. That line tells me something. That tells me like the sports books are begging you to bet the Chiefs. Books always win, right, guys? Sometimes a line can tell you something. I'm picking the Chiefs now, but there is zero chance I'm betting that game. And the sad thing is I have to make all my bets today because I'm leaving for Mexico tomorrow morning, so I can't place my bets once I get to Mexico. But yeah, Steelers, yeah, I agree. Steelers aren't good. They aren't good, the Steelers, I don't think. But are you going to take the Broncos to beat them by a field goal? I don't know. I don't think Bo Nix, are we really going to think Bo Nix is going to beat the Steelers defense? You don't think that Steelers defense is prepared for Bo Nix? I don't know. Chiefs will win. I agree. Doesn't that 5.5-point line scare you a little bit? I know it scares me a little bit. I got Rams as well. I took Pitt and I got the Bears. The Bears is the next game we got. Went 8-7 last week. Well, there was 16 games last week. So what did you get in the last game? Was it a push like me? I count. That's why I went 8-7-1. Sunday Night Football. Bears travel to Houston. Houston is a 6.5-point favorite over the Chicago Bears. Sorry, Steve. I am not taking the Bears. I am not even taking the points. I think the Texans smoked the Bears. Caleb Williams is not ready for primetime football. Caleb Williams is not the next C.J. Stroud. The Bears didn't score one offensive touchdown last week. Texans -6.5, in my opinion, is a pretty easy bet to make, in my humble opinion. Time for a Skip Bayless rant. I don't know if I have a rant, but I have a foreshadowing, and I'll do that in a second with it. A foreshadowing of a rant that is going to be happening next week, probably. All right? So, So, again, the later games, I got the Rams covering and winning outright over the Cardinals. I got the Steelers -2.5 over the Broncos, and I got the Chiefs -5.5 over the Bengals, very hesitantly, and I got the Texans -6.5. So how many outrights how many underdogs did I pick this week? One, 2, 3. I've only got 3 underdogs predicted this week, and I think 2 of those 3 do win, but that's that. We'll get to the Monday Night Football game. I don't know what the line is. When I did this the other day and wrote this down, the Falcons were 6.5-point dogs to the Eagles. I don't know where the line will end up. I won't be able to make any last-second bets on the Eagles game, so I'll get a bet in before I leave. But that being said, we're to the final 10 minutes of this Football Friday show. Steelers aren't a good road dog bet, Phil. Please reconsider. Oh, I'm not making that. Like, I have official bets that I make. Like, I'll pick 3 games as my stone cold locks of the week. One of them this week is that Bucs-Lions game, the Bucs and the points. One of the other ones is the Titans. I think the Titans beat the Jets. I strongly do. Sorry, I know people aren't going to like that, but I do. And I like the Jags game. They're the games I'm most confident. I'm really confident in the Rams game as well. There's really 4 games I'm really confident in. The rest of them I'm just picking to see how I do. I'm trying to make educated guesses, but yeah. Whoops, forgot Monday Night Football 8-8. Okay. So the lines I wrote based off of the betting lines I wrote down, I did have one push. So I went 8-7-1, but that's it. But that's that. So final 10 minutes of the show. We're talking Eagles. As they get set for practice, Devin White, Isaiah Rodgers are back. Milton Williams is hurt. Nick Sirianni spoke about focusing on Bijan Robinson in practice and the fundamentals. Monday night will be Nick Foles' retirement game. Phillies have a tough 10-game stretch. The first Flyers preseason game is tonight, all rookies. Obviously, as someone said, it will be on YouTube. Fantastic. I leave for Mexico. This time tomorrow, I will already be in the air. Hopefully already asleep in the air. Best Friday. I forgot about that. Today, on top of a busy day at the pizza shop, all the stuff I got to do to get ready for vacation and having to work till 9 o'clock tonight. I'm going to have to deal with the Friday the 13th problems at the pizza shop and crank calls and stuff like that. I am not, Mr. a horror movie fan like Friday the 13th or any of that kind of stuff. They just bore me. I will say, as a kid and still to this day, the ones that kill me the most or freak me out the most have always been Freddy Krueger movies, especially the originals. I remember, I think it was Freddy, the second one, Nightmare on Elm Street, when there was a scene in a hospital and she was like asleep and she was up along the ceiling, floating, getting killed. And I was a young child when I saw that for the first time, and I wasn't supposed to be watching it. I snuck down and I was hiding behind the couch and I was watching it while my dad was watching it. And then I had nightmares and I would not sleep for days after that. When my dad asked me what was wrong, I'm like, he's like, well, that's your fault for watching the movie. You pay the cat. My dad gave me a little tough love on that one. So, yeah, it was my fault. But Freddy Krueger always scared me the most, for sure. Michael Myers kind of just like, I don't know. It was good, but it didn't, excite me. The old ones are much better than the new ones. I love any movie. I love older 60s and 70s horror flicks over current ones, for sure. More sound effects, more acting, more anticipation. Now the special effects just are a little over the top now for me. So they don't excite me. So this is not a Skip Bayless hot take of the day. This is part of the recap of today's show. But I am going to tell you, if I find out on Tuesday that Adam did not get a sign saying trending in the AM, #1 sports show in Philadelphia on ESPN, let me tell you something. The Tuesday Skip Bayless hot take of the day will be calling out Mr. Adam Cease for failing, for saving me hundreds of thousands of dollars and not having to give him free food for the rest of the football season. I'm telling you. I'm just forewarning. I am foreseeing the future. I see 2 futures. One where I'm out of a lot of food money, and B, and Mitchie Pooh's out a 69 cents donation, and Peanuts out a $50 donation. We haven't gotten any other things added to the Adam pool here to do this. I'm just saying, that's Avenue 1. I'm going to be out of a lot of money, and other people are going to be out money. Option 2 is I'm going to blast Adam on their show for failing in his mission if you choose to accept it. And he accepted it. This tape will self-destruct in 10 seconds. He accepted it. He accepted the challenge. I'm just telling you, again, the VCPs are coming out like crazy today. That Adam, I'm going to have Stevie Fuentes edit this graphic for one day only. And the edit's going to be taking Skip Bayless's face off there and putting an Adam face on there. That's what it's good. Steve, if you're watching, be prepared. If Adam fails in his mission, I need a new graphic with Adam's face on it. And it'll be the graphic going forward if he fails. Just throwing it out there. Just letting you know, Adam, that you've accepted this challenge. And you are going to be the butt of my jokes for going forward if you fail in your mission. Just going to say. Just going to say. Anyway, it's going to be a fun weekend of football. I'm sure I'll casually watch football on Sunday, poolside in Mexico. I'm sure I will. Actually, honestly, I might not. I might just sit on the beach all day and sleep on Sunday. It'll be my first full day there in Mexico. But guys, with that being said, we'll start the wrap-up process right here for the day. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. This time tomorrow, like I said, I will be in the air. I will be on Twitter a little bit less frequently over the next couple of days. Obviously, I won't tweet 65 times on Monday. Sorry, can't do that. I got to get there early to get it at Xfinity and get up front. You, dude, I'm telling you, it's on you. It's on you, Adam. I got 5 on it, dude. So Stevie's going to donate $5 to the donation pot as well. Adam will be on screen. Big sign, trending in the AM, #1 sports show in Philadelphia. I'm telling you, that was the challenge laid out. Adam has accepted the challenge. Adam will be my Skip Bayless hot take going forward if he fails in his challenge. Just saying. But everybody have a great weekend. Hope you do something fun this weekend. Enjoy a Sunday with no stressful football again. Next week, we're back to regular football, 1 o'clock games. I'm super excited for a 1 o'clock Eagles game next week. I'll make one up just to exactly. Prep it up just in case. Hope someone gets the picture. Well, as long as we know it happened, someone will find it. I need everybody watching. Everybody that watches this show will be watching pregame live now. Keeping it out. K1, you take the first 30 minutes. Mista, you take the next 30 minutes. Everyone's going to be focused on pregame live, except for me. But, we're going to find it. And if we find out it happens, we will get a picture. I'll put the whole EOP crew, making sure they're watching it. All right? Just saying. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you, I'm sure some of the other EOP crew will be at the game. So they're going to help you, Adam. They're going to look you up at Xfinity and help this to happen. But anyway, guys, it's time for me. I got to pack this equipment up so I can put it in my suitcase. Not all the equipment. I won't have the soundboard and mic. I'm just going to go with the old school headphones in Mexico. But I got some packing to do here this morning before I leave for work. Guys, I want to have you all, make sure you all have a great weekend. Do you have a beach body ready? No, my body is not beach ready at all. It's 100% dad body, but you know what? If you don't like what you see, don't look. That's what I tell everybody. And honestly, anybody that sees me, I'll never see again. Muchas gracias, Adam. It's I'm honored. I'm so appreciative that she stuck by my side for almost 18 years. 18 years on Tuesday. So we've come a long ways in 18 years. Almost 17 of them with a pizza shop. So, guys, with that being said, wrap-up process is happening here. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you Monday, live from Mexico. Okay? Trending AM live on location in Cancun. With that being said, guys, go Birds, ring the bell, and bubbles up to y'all.